Welcome to Aquatics Live YouTube channel.
Alright, welcome back guys. We got just to show you the bike, I brought it inside the house here. There's some work to get done. I'll just kind of show you where I'm at right now. We have this used to be my mom's bike actually. She passed away in 2011 from cancer. But so I kept it, and so there's some I mean, it's the only bike I really got right now. I got rid of all my other ones. I mean, they're all rusted. I have some that I cut up and have parts for and stuff, but this is the one I'm going to use. It's got kind of the cheap plastic fender. I do have a rack that I'm going to put on the back of here, so I'm not going to really see this, but I think I'm going to leave this, and I might like zip tie this onto the back of the rack when I put it on there. But yeah, the motor is a super tight fit. I mean, we're talking this intake over here. There's really not enough room for the carburetor and stuff in here. So I'm waiting to get one of those zigzag intake manifolds, and I may have to do something more to that. Also, the fitment on the front tube here, these bolts will not go in. So I'm showing you before I do this, but I am going to take a clamp and squeeze this frame together and make it oval right here where this goes, so the clamp will work here. The back side, it looks good. I'm thinking about giving a little bit more clearance into this front mount. I'm not sure about the back one here, but it looks like everything will fit. I don't want to do too much to it. I'm just going to oval this out, try to clamp everything down, and see where we're at. That's that part of it, and I'll bring you back in with going to do like a compression test on this. I also want to go through the numbers. I did finish porting these cleaned up all the ports on it. It did affect the timing numbers on it some, so I'm going to go through that here in a little bit. Okay, guys, welcome back. Let's get you. I'm down in here. I've been working on getting this put back together. I got more coming on that. I got to mock up more pieces to this, but I wanted to go over the porting numbers on this and do a compression test. So my goal was to try not to affect the timing numbers too much from the stock. Well, if watching Johnny's motorized bike, I kind of went down the rabbit hole a little bit. I widened out the exhaust towards the top before the transfers open, and the effort there was cleared out the rough opening on the top of the cylinder, so that did raise my exhaust. I think like 7 degrees. It was like at 75, and now my exhaust opens at 82 with a 164 duration. Transfers, I just cleaned them up, but they did get raised a little bit too. That just because there was a lip on that, it's got the iron or the steel sleeve in there, and in order to open it up so there's that it actually flows out of that little hole, I need to take some of the steel sleeve away to match up to the aluminum behind it. So they're at 62 now with 124 duration. I'll pop these numbers on the screen too here. And then on my intake side, I did Cleaned it up, and I did go down a little bit. I lowered my intake a little bit. I didn't want to go too much though. I'm at 68 now with 136 degrees of duration. And then so then we got the blowdown number, which is the exhaust minus the transfer. I forgot to say that. That is at 20 degrees of blowdown. So I got a little bit of room. I mean, I could pour a little bit more on here. I don't really want to mess with it too much because I don't know. It's my first one ever building, so we'll see how it goes. It's definitely not like a chainsaw, but I tried to follow some of the stuff you do when you clean up the ports on a chainsaw. Um, but anyway, so we're going to do a little bit compression test here now. I expect it to be pretty low. Oh yeah, my squish is 0.92 millimeters, so just less than 1 millimeter a squish. That's pretty bad. I mean, most people try to get it at a half a millimeter. So I have some room there. I do have the thick aluminum gasket on there, which is a 1 millimeter gasket. So I could put the one of the copper gaskets in there. Those are half a millimeter, so I could bring that number down quite a bit. But then I think my squish number would I might start getting close to hitting. So I'm a little bit worried because of the way the head is. There's uh there's like a flat spot before it starts curving up, and then it has a big deep dome in it. So if I do remove that gasket and go to the smaller one, I also need to do some head work on it to make sure that my piston has room to go in there and that there's squish zone for it. And I have a plan for that too. So I got I'll bring it up closer to the camera. It's a mortising bit. Essentially a big bit, and I won't use it in the drill, but I can just shave it down. I will make a guide for it, like out of wood. First, I'll cut through the wood with this, and then I'll bolt the piece of wood to the head, and then I can work that zone with this bit. I mean, it's aluminum, so it'll shave off real quick and easy. So, gotta be super careful with it. I don't want to go too deep, but I do want to make a squish zone if I end up taking the gasket off. This is exactly the diameter of the piston. Just kind of got lucky that the 49 millimeter piston, that this bit is exactly 49 millimeters. So, okay, yeah, we're gonna do the compression test now. So I'll just kind of have to tilt the motor a little bit. It's not super tight, so should be able to get this in there. And I did put a little bit of oil in there beforehand to make sure that I'm not running. Oh yeah, it's coming up the exhaust. Okay, well, anyway, so I guess it's sealed pretty good. Um, I put a little bit of two-stroke oil in there, so I'm making a mess here. I'll have to clean that up. This is the type of compression gauge. It's designed for smaller engines. It has the Schrader valve on this end that goes into the motor. Some of them have it in this area over here, and then the hose will come into play. But in this case, you just have to spin it over enough times that it builds up the pressure in the hose. And it has an O-ring down here, so you don't have to crank it in too far. All right. Still had air in it the last time I was doing something. And I got the 14 mil socket on the drill. I know I should have one of those spinners on here, but I'm not going to start it up where it'll try to take off from me. But if I ever do use the drill to start up, I'll make sure I get one of those adapters. All right, crank it over and see how she goes. Oh boy, this could get messy. Where are we at? Ooh, wow. If I can get this off of there to show the camera. But we are at, I think we're what are these? 105, 110, 115. Yeah, okay. Hey, I can bring it up to the camera here so you can see it. 115. So yeah, that's pretty good actually. So I'm not too worried about it. I was pretty nervous, but I didn't want to do that without being on camera. Um, I did play with it before, and I was at before I did any work on here, and that was still on the gauge yet from like this gauge evidently holds it good because it was still on the gauge when I started the video here. It was at 75 pounds of pressure from stock. So that is quite a bit of difference there. So we gained was it 100 or we gained 25, um, 35, we gained like 40 pounds almost there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, guys, here's the bicycle. How we're doing right now on it. I will do a quick run through. I just have the gas tank just sitting on there. I put a little bit of space. I used one of the brackets underneath just to raise it up a tiny bit. I'll bring you over to the other side here to kind of show you reasons why on everything. But just the general layout, I did get it mounted up on the frame here. So some trickiness here is the exhaust pipe is very close to the frame. So in fact, it's touching well with the. I put some fiberglass tape around the frame here, um, and the pipe's there, so it'll protect the frame. Hopefully, not get too much heat into this frame. It's a steel frame, so I'm not worried about it too much. Everything just kind of mocked up on here. I got the ignition on here. The motor's bolted in really solid. My my squish job of the I compressed the frame right here where these bolts go through. I put some paint right where I did that. I painted it black, and then there's some rubber uh, rubberized tape running around here. It's the silicone rubberized tape, and I put some back here. It's just more to keep it so it's not eating the frame up if it does rattle loose or something. And I put studs in both sides and just longer ones for up front here. Um, and I'm using a little bit different nuts than the ones that were in the kit because the heads were rubbing on the bracket here. Anyway, so just did that so it was a little bit better to line up. What else? Oh, the big item is I just got stuff set on here. That's the grip I just set on there. But on the let's go around to the. Oh, okay, well I put this. This is the rack that I'm going to use. It's just I got this zip tied here. I did mount it down here correctly, and the fender's on here. So I am going to just drill some holes and zip tie it to this rack. And I'm going to fix and make a better bracket for back here. I just wanted to mock everything up that may be troublesome. The biggest one for me, I'll turn this around. Oh, it's a pretty heavy bike. Well, it was a heavy bike to begin with, and now with the steel, or now with the motor in there, it's even heavier. All right, so what I did here is I got one of those offset adapters to mount up for the intake here. And then I got a silicone rubber hose. It slides all the way down in there, so the pipe goes right up to the elbow in here. And then on this side, I have a pipe that goes to the carburetor here. And this pipe, whoops, oh geez, this pipe here um, goes all the way in, all the way up to the elbow too. So that was the plan, was to get as little of the rubber hose being used for the intake air as possible. I heard that's a problem. Um, so yeah, everything's just really just kind of set on here. This is my test throttle cable. It's not hooked up or anything. So and then the hose here. Um, I got a um, I got two of these springs with my kit, and the also the clutch spring, so a total of three springs. So I'm gonna just utilize the extra one here to heat shield this hose, and then of course I'll use the one that's on the clutch cable, and or the two that go with the clutch cable. It just happened to be I got lucky on that. This is my own black rubber hose, and then this is the clear one that came with the kit. I rotated the fuel line on the carburetor, just turned it, and I bent it in towards the carb a little bit so it's not sticking out way out in the middle of nowhere so bad. Um, and what else do we got going on? I do want to get some better wheels and stuff for her in the future, but right now I did do some cleanup to make sure they're oiled up and ready to go. It is rideable. The tires are pretty old, um, but I just want to kind of test it out as is. And of course, I'm not a rich guy, so I don't have the funds to buying all the parts for it yet. What else we got going on? So we got the sprocket here. I've worked on getting this lined up on the other side here. Going around. So we got the chain. The chain comes off of the here. Just kind of like been laying out the sprocket here in this locate back in here, and um, and then just kind of making sure that we have enough clearance to go from there to the hub. I'm going to have a problem with this hub. These wheels are it's like O2 wheels or whatever they're called. But anyway, they're all aluminum. They are rim brake wheels. The issue is these hubs in here are very curved and super smooth. So I can't use one of those hub adapters where it squeezes on the middle, because it's very thin. Just pushing on it when I was trying to squeeze it to do some tests, I'm a little bit concerned with. I guess they're supposed to be super light, but that does not work so well for our particular situation. It does have nice thick spokes on it, so I'm going to go with the rag joint. But I do have one issue here: is this the hub down here where the sprocket's going to go on is it's beveled, and it's much smaller than the hole inside of here. And if I mount this directly right up to the rim right there, uh, it's going to the chain will rub on the tire a little bit. So I'm going to have to come up with some kind of spacer or bushing to kind of just move it a tiny bit away. I know the rag joint's right on this side here. That it gives it a little bit, but I got to do something about the center hub to match up. So it's just not just floating in the middle of nowhere. But I do have a 3D printer, so I'm going to 3D print a hub adapter for it, and we'll see if that holds up. I hope it does. But if I do 3D print it and it works out for me, I can always go to like PCBWay and have them print it for me, and or machine it for me in aluminum for a fairly cheap price. So I'm not too worried about it. It'll just be a mod I need to do in the future. Little at a time, though. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, so that's where we're at, and I'll see you next week to show you more status of this. So I've kind of just been recording these videos on the weekends. If I can get more done, I'll try to do more videos on a weekend, and then I can post a couple days during the week. I'll probably try to do another short on this once I figure out a few more things on this bike yet. So um, that's about where we're at right now. Thanks, guys. See you next week.